Hallo, welkom hier by Farmspace. Right. Ek praat vandag hier met Gael van Syngenta. Net so 'n bietjie rondom gewasbeskermingsprodukte en so iets. Hy's van die saadkant af, net by the way. Maar net so vinnig interessante situasie wat in China aan die gang is daar en so voort. So net 'n bietjie meer hoe jy jou beplanning dalk moet doen hierdie jaar in terme van gif. Is dalk ook belangrik. Gael, how are you doing?
Great, thanks.
Nah, good. Right. I want to quickly ask you about specifically crop protection products. There's an interesting situation happening in China, and I just want to know, as a farmer, how this impacts my planning and so forth. But first of all, just give me an overview of exactly what is the state of things there at this stage.
So look, what is happening, and is again, it's a phenomenon that has nothing to do with the war in a way in Russia and Ukraine. The Chinese authority, for now a few years, are being more and more difficult and challenging with the chemical industry there by ruling on or putting in place rules from the environmental point of view that are limiting what chemical companies can do in China today. And as a result, and you know that China is supplying a big part of the world, our industry, our crop protection industry, with raw materials and sometimes even active ingredients.
I want to stand on that point just for a quick moment, because now for the past few years we got used to getting these bulk loads of cheap glyphosates from China, and at the end of the day, isn't that to a large extent where some of the problems came in? You had this lawsuit thing going on in America first of all, where the people say no, glyphosate bad, but also now suddenly that becomes a looking glass for the world to say everything glyphosate bad, and China being almost then associated with this, and the type of practices. Obviously, when you get cheap glyphosate, you must know there was corners cut somewhere. Yeah. Now they were getting this bad rap, and it's the Chinese government hedging their future in a way towards this, just to make sure that they are economically viable going forward. Do I sum up the situation correctly?
It's the economical viability is one thing, but the main thing the Chinese authority are after is environmentally sustainable. So all these small chemical companies that were cutting corner, as you rightly said, are putting in danger the environment in China, and sometimes there have been several incidents, explosions, killing people, and the Chinese government has decided to put an end to this. I think they're rightly thinking about their environment and their people, and for that they want much less corner cutting that was happening before in the Chinese chemical industry.
So now they're basically going from the one side of the spectrum to the total other side of the spectrum, totally over-regulating almost to an extent, if there's such a thing, but okay, it does exist. But now that also leaves all the other chemical companies to have to comply to this, and that production goes down because they've got to put all these other processes in place. Do I understand this correctly?
Yes, correct. They've been closing plants. The authority have visited all the plants in China, looked at their practices, especially from the environmental point of view, and if they didn't like what they see, they simply close those plants. They give them, and they will not allow them to reopen until they have adjusted what they saw and they don't like. And some of them will never reopen. Okay, because for some of them, making those investments to their plant, allowing them to upgrade their standards.
To not dump all the waste into the river. Oh.
Exactly. But that's what we're talking about. That's exactly what we're talking about. And that has created a significant shortage overall in the supply chain of chemicals. Actually, not only in our industry, generally speaking, because China is the chemical powerhouse of the world.
Right. So let me understand that a little bit better. And I know you're the seed guy. Yes, yeah. Hy's actually die saad ou, ons verkoop nie gifie nie, maar
I'm the seed guy.
Ja. Maar ek wou gehad het I just needed to get this information from him. So just explain to me a little bit about the crop protection sector worldwide, and how does that work? Let's call it percentage or whatever. What role does America play? What role does Europe play? China, Russia, this whole thing. If you can, do you have such a schematic in your head, more or less?
Well, I don't have the, honestly, I'm the seed guy, I don't have the numbers. What I can tell you that, I'm going to repeat myself, in terms of production, not consumption.
Yes.
It's a different story. Consumption is a different story. China represents a significant amount. It's north of 50% of the crop protection product that are sold in the world that have either an ingredient or several ingredients or even their active ingredient that is produced out of China.
So short and the long of this whole thing is, this year I must just make sure that I've got my crop protection products in my shed. They're already there, just to make sure that if there is some problem of some sort, that I don't run into problems. Because a bug doesn't wait.
If I was a farmer in South Africa, but also outside of South Africa, this is not a season where I would take risks on when I get my crop protection product on my farm.
Thank you very much. Awesome. Right, so, daar het julle dit. Belangrikste, doen jou beplannings, jou gif in die stoor kan kry hulle in die stoor dat hulle daar lê, is op jou grond, dis joune. Jy hoef nie te worry daaroor, is COVID ons nou enige iets geleer het. Snaakse goed gebeur, containers is op verkeerde plekke, jou gif 'n week laat is. Hy waggie vir jou en sê vir jou, nee, is reg, ek kan my maar volgende week kom doodspuit nie. Ons maak seker hy goed reg is. Dis hier van Farmspace af. Dankie Gael. Tot volgende keer. Groete.